Okay. All right. Take it away.
Well, I am the official welcomer since we've been welcoming those of you who are here for the last few months anyway. So, welcome to the call. Tonight is 18th of February 2015, and it may be our final call with this particular Healthy Games.
It
Or
might be, or
we'll,
maybe we'll do that one next week.
we'll talk about that as we go along because maybe we want to get together next Wednesday after we've officially hit our end and celebrate our successes and what we learned about it along the way. I want to say something about a realization for me, something that happened over the weekend. As we have been involved in these healthy games, it's been a reminder to me that we have these healthy games to learn the habits of health and learn about and then practice the things that will allow us to have good health in our lives. And I had an opportunity to see an old friend on Saturday, somebody that I worked with literally 30 years ago when we lived back in the Midwest. We were good friends then, and we are good friends now. And when I say we, it's him and his wife and Claudia and me, and we've just been magic chemistry for a long, long time. And so even
Kristen
though
wants to know who it is.
it's Tom and Lori Christ
It's our daughter, Kristen,
from
right
Bartlett,
there.
Illinois.
She's on the bottom. No.
Anyway, we have seen them a few times over the many years that we've been away from them. I mean, I worked with him 30 years ago, and we've lived here in Utah away from the Midwest, going on 25 this summer. So in that time, of course, I've picked up some healthy habits and very, very grateful to have done so. I call myself a late bloomer because for some reason it took me a very long time to understand the importance of proper nutrition. Nutrition for me was the cheapest thing that you could buy for all the kids at home. And didn't worry a lot about protein, didn't really think about it in those days. Did very little exercise. I've always been a good walker. And in Chicago, of course, sometimes you have to run to catch a train. But that was about it. I'll bet that I could maybe do 4 or 5 push-ups in those days, and that was it. Anyway, it was very interesting to have Tom and Lori drop into our airport for a 4-hour layover here in Salt Lake City on Saturday. They gave us notice the night before and said, hey, we don't know if you can do it, but we'd love to do something. So we picked them up and went out to eat and to play and to talk and laugh like maniacs, shall we say. And there were a few times during the evening where it reminded me of what I used to be. And here I am, a guy that will turn 60 years old in 3 months. And Tom was remembering how I was 30 years before, when I was about 30, when we worked together. And he had all sorts of questions about Kilimanjaro, which is a marvelous mountain that I climbed last September. And I'm back at my local mountain several times lately because the weather is so beautiful in Salt Lake. And so we naturally talked about all that.
Adams Canyon, for those of you
who know about that. Anyway, he finally said, Dave, I don't know the new you. You were never like this before. And it's really true. I mean, other than exercise to get to the train station and back, I didn't do anything. Well, I chased kids and that sort of thing, and cut the grass, but that was about it, honestly. And I was pretty chubbier, probably 30 pounds heavier in those days. And it was just a fun thing to remember that I indeed had made a number of changes the last few years, especially as we've learned healthy habits of health. And it made me grateful all over again to remember how far I've come. And so that was kind of fun. Another thing that he said, which you'll appreciate too, because you've been part of this program, is that he made reference to how I always would come to work on 3 or 4 hours of sleep. And sleep has always been one of those things that has been difficult for me, because I figured, how do people get everything done? They have their day job, they have their kids, they have responsibilities here and there. And so my sleep has for many years been given the short end of the stick. And it continues to be a challenge for me, but I strive so hard to get my 7 hours of sleep a night. And it's certainly far more than 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So I don't know. It was just kind of a fun realization and recollection of how blessed we are to know more about the habits of health that improve our quality of life and make us live longer and happier. That's it.
Yeah, so the idea is that during these 6-week or 4-week challenges, you're trying to develop these habits. And you don't really see those changes come too clearly until somebody kind of reminds you, and you think, oh my gosh, I am so different than I used to be. We eat totally different. Back in the day, I didn't even know what a carbohydrate was, for sure.
We had lots of them.
I just thought it was sugar and flour. I had no idea that fruits and vegetables were carbohydrates too. Anyway, but lots to learn. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun to know that it does become part of your daily living, and you don't even realize how much you've changed until you meet up with Tom and Lori Chris and they say, you are not how you used to be. Anyway, fun story.
Right.
Glad you shared. So shall I share my...
Please do.
Okay, our habit that we're talking about this week is one that you're very familiar with. But you know what? Before I do that, I should say, who is 0139, your last 4 digits of your phone number?
From Idaho.
Well, that's me, Claudia. That's Gladys.
Oh, Gladys! Yay!
We should memorize that.
I'm going to put you on, Gladys. G-L-A.
Oops, almost.
Oh.
D-Y-S.
D-Y-S. There, Gladys, I've got you instead of your phone number now. Glad you're on. I'm really glad you're on. You were off for a couple of days. I was wondering if you were kind of sick. Anyway.
Oh, no. I was out of town for weekend, and I also had a lot of company and kids and stuff, so.
Oh, good.
It was just kind of hard to log in.
That's all right, but just know you're missed if you're not there. So
that's right. Glad you're back.
Anyway, so yeah, the habit of the health for the week is eating small, balanced meals every 2 to 3 hours. Now, this is a change that really is worth keeping. It's very, very worth keeping. And whether you're on the complete program or whether you're on the, just eating healthy or whatever you're doing, it's a very, very wonderful habit. There's been tests done that you have a certain amount of food you eat during a day, and if you were to take from the 3 meals a day that you have and space it for these every 3 hours, you actually do lose weight. And you guys probably already know that, but I thought that was very, very interesting. Welcome to the party, Barbara. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Anyway, we're just talking about the habit of health. And we're talking about the small balanced meals every 2 to 3 hours. And balanced means, you guys all know that it's got a carb protein balance. And so the idea is that you use healthy carbs and proteins. So you're not trying to balance a brownie. You may have to sometimes, but I mean a real brownie. You may use meal replacements or something. Also, we should talk too for just a minute today, we could, about on the healthy games, we're talking about eating healthy. There's also a program that you guys are familiar with, some buzzwords that remind you that there is another program that we coach for that uses meal replacements. They're brainless. They're awesome because you don't even have to think. They're an automatic carb protein balance, and we refer to it as the complete program because the healthy eating is just one part. The complete program helps you get to your healthy weight. And then what we're doing right now is, and you can get to your healthy weight with what we're doing right now of just eating healthy. If you are in danger, say with high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol or something, you may want to lose, if you need to lose weight faster, doing the complete program will help you. But it's fine to do just the healthy eating too that we've been doing. But we kind of look at that as just, the program we're doing on the challenge is just a program. But then if you want to do the complete, then you've got the coach, you've got the smart, the education, and then you've got these meal replacements that help. They help
jumpstart your weight loss.
Perfect. That's it. Anyway, just so I thought, I hope you guys all kind of know the difference there. Not a huge deal, because the main thing is just like what David was talking about, changing from our unhealthy ways to our healthy ways. And let's not even talk to Barbara about stair steps. I mean, she does staircases. It's awesome. Anyway, so, there's so many different ways of that changes come about with us. And anyway, this eating balanced meals every 2 to 3 hours is just awesome. And there are some great ideas for like different breakfasts and lunch. And you know what? Maybe are you guys all part of the Facebook page called Beal Team Healthy Gains?
Yes.
Are you? Okay, good. I'll put it in the files section, and you can take a look at these ideas of a carb and a protein balance. And sometimes they use meal replacements, but you can do it with regular food too. So like with cottage cheese, and you can have an apple with it, and different things. Anyway, I'll put it in that thing. Anyway, so a few ideas are to eat smaller meals and maybe place them further apart. If you have a munchy time, then plan to have a little bigger meal then. You guys probably already figured this out. And also tracking your meals through MyFitnessPal. How many of you guys use that right now?
Shut your big whopping mouth.
Do you? Good. And it's a very helpful thing to do. And here's another nice little thing. Eat to be not hungry instead of eating to be full. It's kind of a nice way to think of it. Think about how you feel when you eat. And so you don't need large meals when you eat every 2 to 3 hours. And also practice sorting. When you look at food, decide, is it a carb or a protein? And you get pretty good at matching after that. The meat, the dairy, the eggs, the beans, the nuts, those are great proteins. And then the carbs are going to be the fruit and bread and veggies. So yeah, that's about it. Look at the labels. As you look at labels on stuff you're eating, the carb and protein, just see what the balance is. Today, David was looking through a magazine. It was Better Homes and Gardens.
Some great soups.
Yeah, and these all had more protein than they had carbs. That's what you're after. So, is it this month?
February, yeah.
Honestly, those had some beautiful soups in, and it makes me want to go buy the magazine. Anyway, so yeah, next time you make a meal for somebody else or have somebody in, just try to figure out ways to make it a little more balanced. Like if you're really, you make a lasagna or something, just a nice little quick Stouffer's lasagna. Wow, get some great green beans and some green salad to try to balance out all those noodles. Anyway, it's a fun little exercise, but it pays off big time. Maybe, do we have time, David? Maybe you could tell him about this trainer you're going to and what has happened with his balancing of what the trainer has him eat is an enormous amount of food, just enormous. And when he eats that way,
yeah, it's very fun to do this. But the last week or so, he wanted me to have a lot larger chunks of protein than what I'm used to having. And so, wow, some days I just eat as much as I can, and then I set the leftovers aside and then go back to it later. And then still, there are other things besides these big meals that he wants me to have during the course of the day. And it, of course, is to support this heavier level of exercise that I'm doing with him, both cardio and strength training. And so I found it interesting that when I was feeling so unnecessarily full, and you were saying we should not necessarily eat with that goal in mind, but wow, to get this food down, this very good nutritious, dense food. I mean, there's no messing around. It was beef, it was chicken without any breading. It was just
With oatmeal with peanut butter in it.
yeah, and but it was the meat meals that you threw lots of vegetables and so forth. It was very, very good food. But I was full. Anyway, this one morning, I hadn't weighed myself for a week or so, just hadn't bothered. And I thought, I got to see how heavy I am. And in fact, I was down 4.5 pounds from when we started this program. And I had signed up for the maintenance part of it. And I thought, well, now that's pretty interesting.
To eat so much food.
And over the weekend, I was just sick of eating so much. And so I still ate good food. But, well, I might have had a cookie and, a few things, but I was not out of control. I was still having good food and not as purely nutritious. Anyway, the next few days, I went up a couple of pounds. So I thought that was interesting.
Weird, isn't it?
So not sure what that tells you.
Okay.
But sometimes you actually need more food.
That's right. Okay, we have done all the talking. This is extremely boring. Okay, what does everybody have to say on this, the 6th and final week of our meltdown? I mean, our challenge, our whatever we're doing. Healthy games. Anybody want to share anything? And how many of you are game, pun intended, for March 1st? Kristen, you're going to take a rest, right?
I think I'll be done, but it's been fun, and I don't want to totally ditch what's happened.
That's right. Keep your habits going. But I think everybody else wants to just kind of keep going, kind of turn over, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in for. Oh, Gladys, you said you wanted to maybe take a rest too, didn't you?
Well, I do and I don't.
Okay, you have time to decide. It's a while till March.
Yeah, I want to keep on with the habits that I've done, but it's just hard for me to log in every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, that accountability. It does. I think they're going to change a few things. So hopefully it's not so many things. I kind of wish they made the readings longer and had about one of them instead of 4 or whatever it is.
It's just I have slow internet where I live. It's just a slow thing. So when I go out of one into another, it just takes so long. And I find that I get stressed as I wait for each thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think I should be exercising. I'm sitting at the computer waiting for things to load. And some of the videos they just simply don't load. And it causes stress in me when I'm sitting there waiting.
That's not what we want. That is definitely not what we want, is to cause you stress.
It felt really good for the last 3 or so days to not log in and just let it go. It felt kind of good.
I don't blame you if you've got to wait for the internet. That's not good. Gee.
Yeah.
I totally.
It's just where I live. This is the best we can do right here. So.
She lives up in Moscow, Idaho, you guys.
Well, it's not that's so bad, but I live out of town, and I'm just in a pocket where a lot of things don't work well, cell phones and stuff too. So I don't know.
So it's not the town; it's the place. Okay, got it.
Beautiful place. We were there years and years ago.
So yeah. So if you were to say a change that you have seen in yourself, everybody, can you say one thing that you're happy that you feel like you've got a handle on that maybe you didn't before? Anybody want to?
I'm doing lots better with exercise.
Exercise, good for you, Darcy. Diane, what did you say?
Oh, I was just going to say, for my entire life, I've been a member of the Clean Up Your Plate Club. And it's taken me 2 rounds of this to finally when I'm full, I stop, even if I haven't eaten everything. You know, you hate to waste food, but I hate the food to go to my waste. Get it?
Yes.
And you know, it's
So-
funny in the microwave that you can heat up those leftovers another time. That's
Right,
'cause I
right.
grew up in the same generation.
I will tell Gladys that I downloaded the app on my phone for the Meltdown Challenge, and it was faster on my phone than on the internet sometimes. I don't know if you did, but try that.
Yeah, I will try that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
That's funny. I had the app on my phone, and half the time, most of the things wouldn't work. It was horrible.
Yeah, the exercise thing the exercise videos won't download, but I can get on the internet with my phone, and they'll download that way rather than through the app.
Yeah.
Wow. This is not without little issues, but Barbara, what about you? What's your favorite thing that you've?
Well, I'm doing new things that I haven't done before, physically. Just like this last weekend, we were down at St. George, and we went hiking, and there was a cliff that was over water, which went out over, and I would have never, ever, ever in my life attempted that before. And I attempted it and did it, and was surprisingly easy for me to do. So that, to me, was a real challenge and a real surprise, and it was really quite fun. I really enjoyed it.
You survived it.
I'm so
It
glad.
was very fun.
And
I didn't keep up with
Brian.
the boys by any means, and they, I stayed on the trail most of the time, and they were up and down the hills and everything. But it was fun to just be, instead of saying, "Oh, you guys just go ahead and I'll just stay back and watch." It was fun to participate.
wow, that's so great.
Thanks for posting that too. I read that. That's so great. Wow. So, Peggy, how about you?
Well, I think my major thing, because I was handicapped with a lot of this
Yes.
6 weeks, but I was able to actually drink more water than I have probably ever in my life on a daily basis. I used to have to work to get 8 cups in, and I've been much, much better this time. It's getting easier for me to drink a lot of water.
That's great. That is great. What is the saying? I think it's Emerson, that which you persist in doing becomes easier to do. Not that the nature has changed, but your power to do has increased because you just keep trying. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristen, how about you? What's your favorite thing you've got?
I think it's just like a good reminder about proportions. I think I have a tendency to just load up on carbs, but it's kind of fun to load up on meat and then tons of vegetables. Like you still get to eat a lot of food, but it's just different proportions,
Yeah.
And also I think it's been good at same thing. Just trying not to pig out on things is a good reminder.
Yeah.
Okay, I have self-control, and to feel like you have self-control keeps you from eating too much, I think.
Yeah. Gladys, did you say one? I can't remember.
No, I didn't say one. I have several.
Good.
Well, the water is the main thing that I have absolutely adopted that, and it's sticking around.
Good.
It's not going to go away.
Good.
Because I feel better with all that water, and I think that it's probably going to save my life in a lot of ways.
Good.
Save my lifespan, I'm sure.
Huh.
I just didn't realize I was so thirsty. I'd been suppressing it so much. And I also really like some of the mental things that were suggested in your well-being as far as your self-esteem. And I do feel like that was a huge help to me in a time when I really needed it.
You're talking like the meditation?
Yes, and the mirror exercise. I actually did that at a time when I was really, really needed it. And it actually worked, and it was great, and it kind of stuck with me. I don't do it every day, but I keep it in mind, and when things get tough, then I remember that that I am important, that I also need to love myself. So you can't love other people if you are damaging yourself, or if you're not caring about yourself. You can't love other people. And so I think that actually is a core for the eating habits that have gotten bad. I mean, that's the core, the foundation of it.
Is your,
So, and I have lost weight. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy.
that's just
Oh,
great.
that's so fun.
So, well,
Hmm.
you can take it over. That's great.
Oh, let's be done. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we are.
Well, I think we're done. Did everyone have a chance to speak? Thank you for your contributions tonight. And the clock tells us that our time together is over.
It's been so nice. Thanks for all your contributions. But man, it's just fun to hear these. You know what? If you wanted to, if you're on that Beal Team Healthy Games website, Facebook page, post some of these things. I think it would help people who are considering maybe getting on, or, whatever, to just find out how fun it is to, what's been happening and the changes that have happened. And invite your friends. You guys that's an open page. So anybody you have that are interested, maybe, Barbara, maybe your husband will come.
I'm trying to keep up with him. He's lost 40 pounds already. So.
Oh,
Good
don't
for
tell
you.
him about it then. This is your secret weapon.
Actually, I have lost 40 pounds too since September.
Wow.
That's so great. That's just
Awesome.
Since when? September?
September 12th was my
Oh.
starting date.
Good for you.
That's just so
And I am down 40 and a half pounds. So.
whoa. Good job.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Hey, well, thanks.
372 to go.
No, sir. Great. Hey, well, thanks, everybody.
We're out of here.
We are.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Guys, take care.
Thank you.
Bye.